Good morning, everyone. Meteorologist Jaret Lansford here to talk about a much nicer forecast. After what was a pretty frigid weekend, we're on the way up. And that's something that's not just a thing for today, but it's a long term change as well. We'll take a look at just how warm it's going to be as we head through the week. We do have one little hiccup that I need to first alert you to as we get toward the middle of the week. And let's just go ahead and dive right in to what we are looking at. A lot of sunshine out there. That'll be the case all day long. And temperatures that have already started to climb. We're almost to the freezing mark, 31 degrees. It does feel a little cooler than that. 23 is our wind chill. This is winter, so that shouldn't be too much of a surprise for you. But this is a whole lot better than we were even during the afternoons the last couple of days. Look at that temperature change, about 20 to 30 degrees warmer than we were at this point yesterday. So quite the surge that we've seen. We got helped out by not really dropping off overnight with our temperatures, and that has put us in a pretty good spot for where we go the rest of the day. There's a look at those current temps, 20s to 30s, where we stand. And again, we'll just continue to climb from there. Here's what the next 12 hours look like. We'll see those temps end up into the mid 40s for our highs. That's back above average. Average high is about 38 for today. So getting a nice warm up in the area. Be a nice chance to get the car washed. If you've been waiting to do that, just beware that that's going to be a really busy place over the next couple of days as people try to get those layers of salt off of the cars. Nice day, though. Good one to get out and enjoy. How about tomorrow? How about even nicer? Again, it'll be cold in the morning. That's just the way it is when you get to December here. We'll start off in the 20s, but make our way up into the mid 50s for a very mild day for our Tuesday. Been a little bit since we've been in the 50s, so that'll be a day to enjoy. And really, the longer term, take a look at this. Temps all in the 40s and 50s for our highs all week long. Now, I will say there's a caveat here. Here's the problem period to watch. I mentioned that hiccup that we get. It's right in this time frame. You notice how we drop those temps a little bit there. From Wednesday night into Thursday, that 42, that's early in the day. Will actually drop as we head through our Thursday. And that comes along with a front. So you need to put a little downward arrow with that 42, and that makes it a little more accurate. So what does that look like? If we got 42 and dropping for Thursday, that must signify a front, right? Well, you're correct if you're thinking that. And that does mean some precip. So let's look at that. That actually arrives Wednesday after about 10 p.m. You can see some of those showers that start to push their way in with the front. Shouldn't be anything too strong with the rain. You can see it is all rain in our area. We go through the overnight hours. We're actually warm enough, right near 40 degrees, that this does fall as a cold rain. So shouldn't have any problems when it comes to that. As we get later in the morning, you see the second little batch of clouds that arrive as we get toward about 9, 10 a.m. That could have some flurries with it, but you don't need to expect anything that is all that impactful with that. Any more significant snow is going to stay well to our north up here near the I-90 corridor near Sioux Falls. So not too concerned with that. The bigger issue that we're going to get with this is, as I mentioned, dropping temps, but also this. It's the wind that's going to really get going after that front comes through. Out ahead of that, Wednesday, we're talking gusts that could get up around 30 miles per hour during the day, and then we'll turn those to the northwest as we get into the evening, and by Thursday morning, we're getting those really ramping up. We could be getting some daytime gusts Thursday, right in the middle of the day. They're up around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Easily could get a couple of 55 mile per hour gusts. The trend has been to try to pull the strongest gusts towards central Nebraska. You notice right in this corridor right here through about O'Neill, Grand Island, Hastings, you're looking at some gusts that are approaching 60 miles per hour. When you get to about 60 mile per hour gusts, that is about equivalent to a severe thunderstorm. This is just gusts that are coming behind the front, not associated with a storm, but That's the strength that we'd be talking about, and we would be talking about some damage possible with those. So if we do see those kind of gusts end up in our area, you'll probably see a first alert 6 weather day get issued for Thursday. But for now, looks like we missed that off to our west. We'll keep an eye on it and keep you posted if that becomes more of a problem for us. Aside from that, though, it's a nice quick recovery that we end up with behind that front. There you can see the lead up to that with some pretty warm temperatures. Those showers that I mentioned after 10 p.m. Wednesday, and may get a few flakes to mix in with that as we get toward our Thursday morning. Thursday's more so going to be about the dropping temps. By the afternoon, we're in the 20s, and you're looking at pretty strong wind gusts. That's going to be pretty annoying with what we end up with for Thursday afternoon, midday even. You're looking at those pretty strong gusts. So Wednesday is probably the day you're going to want to make sure that you are getting any kind of Christmas decorations in good shape, tied down, locked to the point that they're not going to be flying away. We don't want to see Rudolph flying this early from those kind of winds. Once we get past that, a little breezy still for Friday, but notice the temperature. That is a south breeze, and right in that stretch, you go from 15 for the low Thursday night up to 46. Another quick recovery to some more mild air. We go through the second half of the 10-day. Not a ton in terms of precip. Maybe a little bit of something on Saturday. That doesn't look like too big of an issue for us at this point. And more highs in the 40s as we head through the weekend and into next week. That last one there, that's Christmas Eve, and you're looking at mid-40s. The trend is warm, warm, warm throughout the country. Above average temperatures looking very likely in the lead up to Christmas, and even in the couple days after Christmas. The trend is for generally warmer than average temperatures. That is kind of a double-edged sword. Probably means not a white Christmas. The way things are looking, it looks pretty unlikely that we're ending up with a white Christmas in our area. It does mean smoother travel for a lot of the country, looking like we should be pretty incident-free on that front. And when we start talking precip, it does look wetter as you head toward the west coast and into the mountain west. Looks wetter than average. So that's something to watch if you're maybe heading in that direction over the course of that Christmas time frame on either side of that. But all told, it's a pretty quiet forecast that we're looking at, aside from that front that comes through in the middle of the week and brings those strong wind gusts and that little bit of some precip in the form of rain mostly for Wednesday night into Thursday morning. I think that'll wrap it up here. So it's nice to be able to talk about some much warmer temperatures after that frigid weekend that we had. If you can believe it, we actually didn't get below zero with the air temperature this weekend. We still have yet to do that. So certainly felt plenty cold. We're not going to be down in that territory for a little while once again. So appreciate you joining in. I'm going to be live here at the top of the hour on First Alert 6. We'll have the updated forecast, everything I'm seeing as far as how things evolve for the rest of the day. But after that, please feel free to get out, enjoy the nice sunshine that we have and those warmer temperatures. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday.